Hello everyone, I am Denise Posnack-Gaffney. I'm here on Facebook Live, broadcasting to you from New York City, where it is winter again. It wasn't winter for the past week, but we have snow today, which is exciting. So anyways, I'm just gonna get started. If people come in, that's great, and join the conversation. My first Facebook Live talk was last Tuesday, or this past Tuesday at 1:30. We talked about what is core and how does it relate to you. We looked at the muscles of the core. We talked about how when your core is strong, you feel safe in your body and you have endurance to do more than you thought you could do. You have more physical capacity. And the same thing with your spiritual or emotional core. When you feel connected to your core, you feel safe in the world and you feel like you can move out and do things that maybe you were afraid of doing before because you're connected to self. So today I want to answer the question, what state is your core in? And this is a great opportunity for you if you are interested at looking deeper into this concept of core. You know, what do I know about core? Are you curious about it? Do you want to have a strong core? You hear that it's good for you, but maybe you're not tending to it, or you have tended to it, but you don't really understand it. So I am breaking down the state of your core into 5 different categories today, so you can sort of latch onto one. Obviously, it's a spectrum. You might be in a couple of categories. You might have experienced each category once, experienced like the first category once and then the second category later. But these 5 categories are the ones I'm breaking this down into. So the first category of what state your core is in is the person who thinks, when you think to yourself, I can't find my core, or I don't have a core. So you might be someone who doesn't exercise a lot, you don't want to exercise, you'd rather be reading a book or traveling or doing something that, works your mind more than your body, and maybe the thought of sit-ups, you were never good at sit-ups, you hated them in PE, your stomach feels like it's sticking out, the thought of having washboard abs is just completely never going to happen in your lifetime kind of thing. Maybe you are there. I don't have a core, which you have a core, but feel like that, or I can't find my core. Our second state of core is I think I have a pretty good core. And by think, that's your belief. You can go to the gym, you do a ton of core workouts, you're doing them on YouTube, or you take a boot camp class and you're doing 500 planks and you can do 200 sit-ups, no problem, and maybe you have those washboard abs. But if you're in this category, you might still get injured, you might still have back pain, or you might have a move that you want to do but you can't quite get there. And also you are someone who might not know that there's more to your core than you know. And that's, if you think you have a strong core, I think there's more for you. The third category is someone who feels like I used to have a strong core. So a lot of my clients who have come back after pregnancy or C-section, maybe they were fine after their first child, but their second child, the body is completely changed. People who used to be pretty athletic but have really let their bodies go, in a sense, meaning not paying attention to the body, and the core feels, you know what it feels like to be strong, but it's gone, or you know what it feels like to have a flat stomach, and that's gone. So the used to, it's a sort of longing for something that you know you used to have. And then the fourth category, surprising enough, is this category of I have an uber core. And I'm using the word uber because it's sort of funny and it's sort of exaggerated. And I think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think of bodybuilders, and I think of myself after studying so much Pilates that I ended up going in the other direction, which is a heldness, and I wasn't able to release my muscles, to breathe fully. I was holding on to this super tight core, and that, even though it seems great, actually can work against you. So our fifth state, which is the ideal core state, is that you are core conscious. So to be core conscious, it means that you know how, first of all, you know the full depth of your core. You know how to do the exercises, the proper exercises to activate those muscles. You know what it feels like to have a core that totally supports you and totally changes your life so that you feel you're able to do things that you weren't able to do before, or your race time increased, or you were able to jump higher than you've ever jumped in a basketball game. You know what that feels like. And you know how to access it when you need it and let it go when you don't. You also know you're still core conscious if you've lost that sensation, but you know how to get back to it. So those are our 5 categories. 1, I don't think I have a core. I don't know about a core. 2, I think I have a pretty strong core. 3, I used to have a core. 4, I have an uber core. And 5, I am core conscious. So I want you to ask yourself, what state are you in right now? And you might have been in one state before, and then you're in a different state right now. And that's all great. So if you are watching this talk, you're probably interested in having a deeper relationship with your core. So just whatever state you're in is great, and we're going to try to get you to the next level over the next few weeks in these talks. Now, I have experience with numbers 2 through 5. I don't think I ever felt like I didn't have a core. As a dancer, I was very athletic, so I always was interested in movement. But number 2, I think I have a great core. When I was a dancer, I thought I was strong. I would go to the gym all the time. I spent hours and hours and hours working out, working on my body. But it wasn't until I found this deeper layer, which we talked about the transverse abdominis in our last talk, so go ahead and check that out if you're interested. I found this super strength. Hey, Noelle! Awesome. Noelle was also one of my first Pilates teachers. Awesomeness. Hey, girl. So I found this super strength. Noelle witnessed this, so she was there when this was happening. So I recall just having spent so much time trying to get strong in my core, but then finding the right exercises that got me there very quickly and that healed back pain that I had been experiencing for 7 years. So I've experienced that. Third category, I used to have a strong core. I've experienced that as well. After pregnancy, I lost sensation in my core muscles. It was very hard for me to get them back, but it was possible, and I feel like I'm back now. And then I also know what it feels like to have too held of a core. I would hold myself, this 4th category, hold myself too much so that I limited my ability, my flexibility, and that ended up being a negative thing. So taking all of these categories, I can't find my core, I think I have a strong core, I used to have a strong core, where is it? I have an uber core, and also our 5th, core conscious, and just, again, asking yourself that. So moving into, I love the body as a teacher. So these talks are intended to focus on the physical, but also focus on the emotional and spiritual aspect of the way the body can talk to you. So this is a series of questions to ask yourself about your own personal core. First of all, do you know what it is? Hey, Caitlin. Do you know what your core is? A lot of people, you might be in the, I can't find my core self. Who am I? That's state number 1. State number 2, I think I have a pretty good, solid concept of myself. I know who I am. And you think that, but then you run into life, which challenges that out, and you get stuck, or you're in pain because of something that came along, and you realize, oh, my core isn't as strong as I thought it was. 3, I used to be connected to myself. Very common. So just from personal experience, when I was doing this list today, the third one jumped out at me because once I lost my physical core after giving birth, and I had a hard time finding that, at the same time I lost my spiritual, emotional life core and have been very flustered because having a baby does that to you. But it's really great for me to look at that and say, okay, this can start to come back. And I'm doing it physically first. I've opted to start taking more Pilates lessons, get back into an exercise routine. And what's interesting is it's really helping me get on track with the messiness of the practical parts of my life. So our third state, I used to have a strong core. Our fourth, our uber core, are you living your core life in that way, staying so close to who you think you are and what your values are that you're not able to open up to something new or try something outside of your comfort zone. For me, the physical, I found that there was so much I could protect myself from pain doing Pilates, which was amazing. And so I was holding on to that protection for so long. And physically, when I was asked to do a choreographic move, hey Jen, I was asked to do a piece of choreography. I was unable to do it because my core was so held, and I was so concerned about staying close to this pain-free existence that I really limited myself. So similarly in your life, in your spiritual being, are you doing that? Are you holding on to your uber-centeredness and you're not gonna release and try new things? So all of these, or are you, our fifth category, are you core conscious? Are you conscious? We're all working towards that, right? So we see it in the body, we feel it in our lives, and it's an interplay. So if you can pay attention to it in your life a little bit and pay attention to it in your body, it's gonna help you inform both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two exercises today. One is physical, and the other is sort of emotional, spiritual, whatever. I'm using the term spiritual, could be emotional, intellectual, however you want to see it. So the first one, you do need to be on the floor. So wherever you are, hopefully you're in a place, you're not walking somewhere, you can get on the floor, you can always come back to this and do this later. So we're gonna test in to see which state of core you're in. You have an idea, okay, this is what this is what my core feels like, this is the physical aspect. So let's go ahead and test in to see where it is. I'm gonna move the camera down so that you can see me. So if you can find a place on the floor, on a mat is great. And if you have something tight on, or if you want to pull up your shirt so you can see your abdominal muscles, that's a great way to do this too. So lying back onto your back, just have your knees bent. And if you were at the last talk, we did an exercise where we pulled in the navel, we zipped from the pubic bone to belly button, we did a waistline cinch like you had a pair of pants on, and we practiced that. So it's a similar concept here. So you're gonna come down and lie on your back. And I'm actually gonna move this chair, and I'm gonna move my hands so you can see the depression of the abdomen. I'm gonna move my hands here. Now you wanna put your hands down on the mat and your head down, but I'm gonna put my hands here just so you can see. So if I'm not engaging my core looks like this. It's distended, it's there, fine. Okay, now I'm gonna engage it, and that means I'm gonna draw it in, navel's in, pubic bone comes up to belly button, waistline is cinching, and I have a nice little scoop here. That's ideal, is to have a scoop, but if you can't have a scoop, you have a nice container. Now, here's how we test in whether or not your deep core muscles are active and available to you. You're gonna pull that in, and then you're gonna lift your knees up, 1 and 2. Now put your hands on your tummy, right below your navel, and breathe in and let it go, and then exhale and draw it in. Now, see, you're gonna feel these. You're gonna try to tap your right toe down towards the ground without this popping. and then you're gonna come back. If you noticed, for me to do that perfectly at this point and with a lot of depth, I just went a little distance. You don't have to do much. But I noticed that if I go a little distance, I can pull those ab muscles back and they can stay back. So pulling in, try the left leg. And come back and truly test, are they popping at all? The moment they pop, you're out of alignment with core. So let's do it again. Drawing in, right leg tap, slowly. I'm gonna go further because I can, and I'm gonna come up. And it stayed in, so I'm connected. Left leg, tummy's in, go down, see how far you can go. The moment it starts to pop, you come back. And again, tummy's in, right leg. Another great indicator is if your back starts coming off the mat, you know you've popped your core and you're not connected. And other side, left leg, and return. Now, put your legs down. The legs are challenging out that. Now we're gonna do a little sit up and see if we can keep this in. So if I don't think about it and I do a curl up, my stomach pops out. Okay, I'm concave, I'm convex, not concave. So I'm gonna come down. So put your hands underneath your head. Draw your abdominal muscles in. And now slowly try to come up with your chest. And you can look now at those abs. See if you can come up without popping those muscles. Maybe you come up, they pop out, and then you draw them back and down. And then come down. This is extremely hard to do, and I'm sweating right now because it's so challenging. That's what working your deep core muscles should feel like. It should feel like you're sweating after the first one you do. If you're not feeling that, you're not working deep enough to get to this place. So again, draw your abdominals in, your deepest abdominal muscle, find that concave abdominal system, and then start to come up. Chances are you're not gonna be able to go very far. Look at those abdominal muscles, draw them in, and then lower, down and back. One more, inhale, exhale, draw in. Exhale helps with drawing in. And then come down and back. Okay, great. So you can do those exercises on your own. Great thing to do every day, just to test in. And see over time, if you work that way, you will test in. Now my second exercise for you is a writing exercise. You can take this, jot this down. I did it this morning on the subway, and it really helped me sort of start my day and get connected to what my core of my day is going to be. So there are two questions I want you to answer. One is, what is my core? What is core to me? So on my list came out things like a sense of beachiness. I'm from California. Jen and I spent time in Fire Island together. I am a beach girl in my core, but I live in New York City in this crazy place. But that came out. Another thing that came out for me was finding fun in things and laughing more. It's so easy for me to be very serious, but my core self wants to have fun and wants to laugh and wants to open up. So that was really interesting. So what is core? The second question I want you to ask yourself is, what state is my core in? And once again, I gave these 5 categories. 1, I don't have a core. 2, I think I have a strong core, but I'd like to work on it. 3, I used to have a strong core, but it feels like a mess. 4, I have this super strong core self that I'm so rigid, I'm not allowing myself to open up. And 5th, I'm super core conscious. And whatever your answer is, write about it. What does that look like? For me, like I said, I'm kind of in 3 with my life. I used to be a lot more organized, and now I look at my purse this morning and it's crazy. So I want to get a little bit more organized. So those are your 2 questions to write about. And then the exercise to take out in your day, and you could do this tomorrow, you could do it today, depending on where you are in your day, is asking yourself a brief question before any decision you make. Is this core to me? So when you're walking to the subway or you are driving a certain path, is that path core to you? Or would it be better for you to drive down PCH today because it's going to calm you down? Would it be better for you to walk along Central Park instead of the streets? Take a little extra time. When you go to order lunch, you know, oh, I really want that, you know, whatever it is for the 5th time this week, that croissant thing. Is that core to you? Is that what you want to eat? When you're trying to make decisions about saying something to your husband or saying something to your best friend or who you're going to call that day or how you're going to, just a brief pause, asking the question, is this core? That's it, super simple. So again, today we talked about what state our physical core is in and what state our emotional, spiritual core is in. And if you can share this, that's great. Come back. I'll be broadcasting live next Tuesday, every Tuesday and Friday in March at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 10:30. That's awesome, Caitlin. Yeah, so join me next Tuesday. It's a similar model. Feel free to use this. You can listen to it later. You can, you know, be on the live calls. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Denise at MyBODwellness.com. I love talking about this. I love opening up to it. And I will see you very, very soon. Have a great weekend, everybody.